Mr. Big in the Britches himself.
This is the Smithsonian. This is the big leagues.
First off, Leon and I, we went to see Night of the Museum 2, Battle of the Smithsonian, which was a little confusing.
Yeah,
at first.
well, I guess it's like Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah, that's what, as it turns out.
Yeah.
But yeah, at first you're like, isn't that just bad grammar?
Right. It should be Battle of the Smithsonians or
Yeah,
but
something
whatever.
like that. But as it turns out, we were the ones who were mistaken. But we never saw the original one, just Night of the Museum 1, Battle of the original
Bullshit.
museum.
Yeah, I mean, really, you didn't miss anything from the first one. See, I saw the first one.
Tell us about the first one.
Well, it's Ben Stiller. I mean, I don't even remember that much about the first one. Way to put me on the spot, man.
Well, there's like a magical Egyptian iPhone that like apparently brings all the things to life at night.
So in the first movie, Ben Stiller is a guy who wants to be an inventor.
Yeah.
But his inventions ain't really going anywhere. He's lame. You know what I mean? He's pretty much a loser. And his wife is saying, look, come on, you playing around with all this shit. You got a kid.
Oh,
you got
he's married in the first one?
Well, I think
they mentioned his wife in the second one.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, no, in the first movie, he was divorced.
Oh, okay.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like in the movie, his wife is kind of like, look, I left you because of this shit, and I'm barely letting you see your kid right now. You go out and get your ass a job and quit playing around with all these little toys, trying to be, you know, in here being Phineas J. Whoopi and shit. So,
Nice.
so he's like, he goes out and does what any desperate guy will do, because I've been there. He
He's a
says,
security guard.
just always work as a security guard. So
Wait, now when you watch the first one, you're going like, should have wore glasses and a fake nose.
yeah,
So-
see, there you
I'll tell
go.
you, though, she screwed up though, because I mean, what the fuck? He was right. His little toys paid off apparently.
Yeah.
And then even more so than that, he's lucky because it cleared the way for Amy Adams' absolutely stunning ass to show up in the sequel. I swear to God, every time she would turn around in this, Leon and I would both go,
he's right about that. It's like this movie is protected from getting some old bullshit just on the fact of her ass walking around in those tight Amelia Earhart pants.
You guys are making a nightmare for me to edit this, by the way. Let me get to this plot right here.
It is a little all over the place. Okay, so basic plot. We'll just get this out of the way.
I just went from like telling the middle of the plot to Amy Adams' ass. I'm just like, God damn.
Well, as far as Leon was concerned, her ass was the plot.
He goes to get a job as security guard. Of course, when he gets there, now I can't remember what brings all these things to life, but the guards were there before. They tell him, look, this is not just a regular security guard job. This is a little different. He's like, you see, let's let you in a little secret here. It's not about keeping people from coming in. It's about keeping the exhibits going out. And of course, that means that at night, all these exhibits come to life, taking on the personalities of whatever they represent. And Ben Stiller has to actually keep everything inside and just, I guess, keep these guys from destroying the museum. So in this one, I guess it's something similar. He comes back. It's just now they just got more stuff.
All right, so he goes back to the museum, as we were saying, and they're all like, fuck you, dude. How dare you get a successful job and be happy?
Yeah.
But they're all being packed off, or at least most of them, to go to the Smithsonian storage. And they're like, okay, well, that's sad. There doesn't seem to be anything to do with it. But then he gets a phone call from one of them, which is
yeah, I know. Yeah, Owen Wilson.
saying that, help, the brother of the evil Egyptian guy from the first movie is here, and all chaos is breaking loose, and you've got to come help. So, of course, he immediately flies off to Washington, D.C., and tries to find a way with the help of a pretty... the most entertaining scene in the movie between him and Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
He steals his security guard pass and gets into the underground of the Smithsonian, where he's trying to sort out this madness. And there's an evil Egyptian, I guess. This is what I'm gathering from this
Try
movie.
to play forensic detective and put this together. Apparently, from the first museum in New York, they said, like, all right, a lot of these exhibits are just old and kids don't care about them no more. We're going to pack them up, send them to the bottom of the basement of the Smithsonian next to the Lost Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
And when they get there, the monkey steals the tablet, so it goes along with him and brings everything to life in the Smithsonian. And one of the things it brings to life is the older brother of the little Egyptian kid from the first one. And he's evil. That who's Hank Azaria.
Yeah, this time they got an actual celebrity to step in and play the bad guy.
So you got Hank Azaria pretty much doing an impression of Boris Karloff with a lisp.
Which is odd considering
how he put this together. I have no idea.
at least the original Egyptian looked like maybe he could be Egyptian. Where's
Yeah.
Hank? What was that?
Yeah, I don't know.
They couldn't
But,
have gotten The Rock for this?
like, they must have really had their budget cut because they didn't have a whole lot of celebrities. So Hank Azaria had to not only play Kamen Ra, what is his name?
I don't
Kamakura, Karma Chameleon or something. But he was also the voice of the Abraham Lincoln statue and of the Thinker.
Interesting story. You know, one night at
President, I'm gonna need you to hold
Gettysburg, we
still
were
now.
so what?
Abraham, freeze.
Freeze? You two make an adorable couple.
Oh, no, we're not. No. We're not we're not a...
We're not, blah, blah, blah. I never lie.
One thing I thought was neat here, like, because it's the Smithsonian, so you've got all this stuff. You've got the jet planes in the Air and Space Museum.
Yeah.
You've got the famous pictures in the Art Museum. And a neat little touch that they stole from the movie Waxworks, that they could dive inside the pictures and do shit inside.
That's funny
because
because to you're like, oh, that's a neat touch, and to me, I'm just like, y'all are stacking the deck now. You're just making shit up. I mean,
yeah, but this is like absolutely bizarro fantasy. There's no rules at all.
Well-
They're like, fuck it. It's like pop art in and of itself. You know.
So it's like one big kind of amusement park.
It's one big amusement
Yes.
park,
Yeah.
and you can either go with that for like as far as the sense of like your suspension of disbelief, or you can't.
Yeah.
And this movie isn't made for people who can't.
I'm sorry. As we get to this, here's the most important part. Not the most important part, but a huge important part. Ben Stiller has moved on. He's an inventor. He's like
He's rich.
He's like the Ron Popeil. He's got George Foreman coming on his infomercials. He's rich. He just goes to the museum to check it out and just say like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" And they're all giving him the biggest guilt trip in the world.
Douchiest exhibits ever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now that you all famous, you don't come visit us, and they're packing us away. See what you did?
And he's like, yeah, I'm not a fucking security guard anymore.
Right,
That's
well,
why.
that's
What do you-
exactly what it is. They're like going, "Oh man, see, you're just not doing what you love." It's like, "Fuck you! I was a security guard. I didn't love that
I
shit."
paid my dues. What am I gonna come back and hang out with you losers
And
for?
it doesn't make any difference anyway, because apparently at the museum they just let anybody walk in and spend the night without double checking them too. So he didn't need to work there.
It's true.
That'd be funny if all these famous people and exhibits, they were just homeless people who in costume who came in. It's like, hey man, you dress up like an Egyptian guy, you get to sleep all night in a warm
I'm
place.
fucking Albert Einstein. Give me a goddamn dollar.
You know what? That would actually make for a better movie. I think.
Yeah,
I'd pay to see that.
yeah. There's the security guards think, oh, this is magical. It's just a bunch of homeless people having a costume party. Hey, yeah, history, yeah.
It's a security guard who's on heroin and
now-
can't see. Like it's Mr. Magoo. Oh, goodness!
Now, see, that's what I thought. Like,
Oh, Magoo, you've done it
Well,
again.
the whole world is like that security guard here, because once the exhibits start going, mysteriously every security guard or person just flat out disappears. You know, they should have called this actually, because okay, yeah, you got to suspend your disbelief, but it should be like not Battle of the Smithsonian, but the complete and utter destruction of the Smithsonian.
Oh yeah, they do pretty much destroy it before it's all over.
Oh, they just rip it to shreds. And now, of course, there's 10 times as many things that brought to life. There's 10 times as many cameos. Jesus fucking Christ. Like every 5 minutes, there's like, hey, look, it's so-and-so,
well, in the first movie, we had certain characters like Robin Williams as Teddy Roosevelt.
Who returns.
Owen Wilson, I think. So they go between fictional people and historical people. Like you had Teddy Roosevelt. You have Ivan the Terrible, played by Christopher Guest. You have Octavius, who's played by Steve Coogan, and then you have somebody like Owen Wilson playing a cowboy.
He's generic cowboy.
Yeah,
#1.
yeah, all these historical characters. He's Jebediah Smith. The random little cowboys. So you get all these, attractions that return from the first movie to this one. Now, in the second movie, I guess they just said, look, we only have so many historical figures that we can pick from. Like Amy Adams, as you said, as Amelia Earhart. I mean, but
Well, you got the Wright brothers in there now. You get the Tuskegee Airmen.
There's lots of 2-second cameos. Like, look, it's not only that actor, it's that famous person that if you actually knew anything about history, you might recognize.
Well, now don't they do things? I'm reading some of this online, and it says that, okay, we just ran out of historical figures to represent here. Now we got Fonzie's jacket, and we got Archie Bunker's chair.
Oh no, you got a cameo from Darth